Hello, you are listening to Neighbourhood News, and this is the audio story. One of the largest Roman silver treasure hoards in Europe is on display at the Basel Historical Museum. The exhibition, titled Treasure Hoards Hidden, Lost, Found, showcases the most spectacular finds from the Basel region. Neighbourhood News spoke to Florian Setz, assistant curator for the exhibition. Here is the interview. Florian, thank you for speaking to Neighbourhood News. My
Of course.
first question is, what is a treasure?
Me and my chef, Pierre Camber, we came up with the idea. We decided what kind of treasures we want to show, how we want to show them, why we want to show certain treasures and others not. We want to engage people in what they think a treasure might be, also concerning pop culture references like Indiana Jones, Lara Croft and all that. Is that really a treasure, what they find? Of course, in a way it is, but reality looks completely different. So we tried to show people what a real treasure, also in the historical archaeological sense, is. For us archaeologists, a treasure is something of a certain value that has been buried or thrown into the water or discarded in a certain way. That was a conscious decision to give something, be that for gods, goddesses, be that because there was a dangerous situation for people, and then you hid it because you want to come back at some point and get it back. Or also maybe you're a thief and you hide it from the police or stuff.
How did this idea come about to curate such a collection?
The idea came up pretty early because in the last few years there have been a lot of finds of treasures because amateurs go around with a metal detector. They're licensed and so they do it legally. And then the stuff they find, they tell the archaeological departments, and then we can analyze it, identify how they came together and all that. And in the last few years, there are a lot of news about these treasures, not just here in Switzerland, also all around, because that's happening more often. We decided that's actually a good thing to put it out there. Yeah.
Could you speak about the process of excavating and the process of restoration?
It certainly depends on what you find. Sure, you can do this on the field and do this really fine at some point where you really are at the start of this deposition. And sometimes you don't have enough time, so you had to get the whole block out and put it somewhere else. So you have all the time that you need to really be fine with it. And other excavations, it's much more rough. You don't have enough time. You have to dig a bit more faster. You go with an excavator, just take all of it off. And once it's excavated and it gets into an archaeological department, then the fine work really begins, exactly like in the Gasfabrik deposition. As you might also notice, we have 5,000 coins in one hoard. Every coin has its own number, and so you're not free to just display all the coins. So you have to put a small label on the back side, so you know exactly, okay, this is coin number 1, and coin number 1 is then here, so you can find them together. So that's also a lot of work just to display it. So people in our museum were quite involved in just making them presentable. How can you display it? Because it's too much light or humidity. So it's also a lot of work to prepare these exhibition halls so these objects don't take more damage.
There is a huge map there on the wall which identifies the places where a lot of these treasures were found. Did it change your perspective about the city of Basel when you started looking at it as a region and not just a political or geographical boundary, but how historically these treasures were found here?
I realize now that you ask, yes, it's actually interesting to see this topography of treasures, and it just gets you also an idea what has been found, what still could be out there as well. We are a tri-national exhibition here, so we also exhibit objects from Alsace and also southern Germany. But as it turns out, southern Germany does have a lot of really nice treasures, but a lot of these treasures are really far away from here right now, so that's also why they're not exhibited here. And the really closest region to Basel, for example, is quite devoid of treasures, but that doesn't mean there are no treasures. It's just less research and also less building projects where you can actually find something. So it's not just there are no treasures, but we just don't have them yet because we have no way to really get at them.
And Basel is also a very preserved city in terms of
Exactly, yes.
houses and streets, and not everything is broken apart. So that might also be probably an aspect that there are
Yes, and
things
people
out
always
there.
have lived here, always have worked here, and also hid treasures. So if you build something, there's almost no way that you don't find anything. Maybe it's not a treasure per se, but it could just be the last house in a way that's at this point. Yes.
When a visitor comes here to visit this exhibition, what should they expect?
I think in a way we just wanted to evoke this nice atmosphere of treasures and also the mystery that comes with it, also the adventure, the way people feel if they find something. It's not just about the worth of what you find, it's also about just finding it. This childlike notion of what is a treasure? Oh man, that would be so nice. Or I'd always dreamed of this. I also wanted to be an archaeologist. And also obviously teaching people what is a treasure, also getting them archaeology a bit closer, what it meant for the region as well.
And my last question, Pia earlier mentioned that there was a call out at Augusta Raurica and
Yes,
this region about if anybody has these silver plates or something. Would you want to repeat this call out for our listeners of Neighbourhood News in case they listen and maybe they have something of this?
If they have something of this, that would be interesting. Also, if they give it back. Kaiserauchs, the places where it was found, started this call out, just if it's possible that somebody still has this stuff. It would be a huge thing if even more get out of it. You saw one of the big plates, the Achilles plate. There's a small impression on it, and this impression doesn't fit to any other plate there. So we know at least one object is still missing, and it could be somewhere out there, maybe in a back room, in a cellar, and people don't even know about it. A lot of objects we got back, and so now we have these 270 objects. But who knows, maybe it's 300 objects or even more. It would be great if more stuff would come together.
Thank you so much for speaking to Neighbourhood News.
You're welcome, of course. Thank you too.
The exhibition will run from October 16, 2025 to June 28, 2026 in the Barfüsserkirche. We hope you, the listeners, enjoyed this episode of Neighbourhood News Audio Story. Remember to subscribe so that you won't miss the next one wherever you get your podcasts. Before we wrap up, make sure to subscribe to the weekly newsletter Neighbourhood News, your weekly English language digital newsletter with news you can use. The link is in the show notes. Thanks for listening. See you in the next episode.